could get used to this. I'm dying for your kiss. Didn't even know. Now it surely shows. You make me feel alive. Make me wanna try. Won't give up this fight. You're the reason why I'm sinking into it.
Okay folks, a lesson in reading a navigation map. So you can see that there are different color gradients, and what I'd like to show you is that white is the deepest. White is good. Light blue is also good.
It's okay, not as good.
Right?
Like
it gets
8 to 15 feet.
Yeah, and then hopefully you can see that there are, I'm not sure if you can tell, there are spots that are light blue with polka dots and spots that are dark blue with polka dots. And so what that's showing us is a gradient, a gradual loss of depth. And so our goal is to keep our boat right there in the white and plain light blue. We are going to be navigating some tricky, narrow spots today. We are at the Jekyll, we're at Jekyll Island, but you can see that the water levels, the grass is covered, which means we're at nice swollen high tide. We're in 21 feet right now. We're traveling 9 knots over ground. The speed of the boat is 8. So we're gaining a knot due to the movement of the current.
Yep.
The tide is high. Look how warm that water is, 77.7 degrees. But I thought I'd give you a quick lesson on how we read these maps. Yeah.
We're going to be going through an area that is only 3 feet deep at low tide.
Right.
So we're going to be counting on 8 feet of
high tide water
to get us over it, basically.
Yeah. Still at 16 feet deep, but this area right before the bridge is supposed to be super dicey. Hopefully our timing with the tides works well. So now we're at 10:06.
So subtract 7, you mean 3 foot of water on the ground at low tide.
Yeah. Low tide would not work, folks. Alrighty, we're at 12:04, so we're doing well. I'm going to show you how we can read the tides. So see that little box right there that says rising tide, and it's got a 7 on it. That means that there's a 7-foot swing right there, Richie. Is that correct?
We're 7 feet above low tide.
So I'm going to push that box. Okay, so there is the tide table, and it shows you where we are. We're almost to high tide at the time. It's at noon. We'll be starting to drop, and so we can follow the tide throughout the day and night using this graph. 6 p.m. will be at low tide today.
What you're showing is the river.
Yes.
So all the dark green there,
yes,
right now is flooded.
It's marshland, yeah. Oh, it's flooded marshland.
It's flooded marshland.
Right, we can see this yellow part is the grass that's sticking up.
Low tide, then you would see that that's all land.
That's all exposed.
That's all exposed
at
low tide.
Yeah, so that's why it's super tricky. You're looking at this map, and you're looking at this big water in front of you, but you can't use all that big water. You'll get stuck. So as we travel through this narrow passage, we point out this gorgeous golf course. Just beautiful. Good gracious. golf course that is. There's also a marina coming up on our port side past the bridge. So there's some life here. Alrighty, we're back in 12 feet of water. You can see the light blue that we are in now. I wanted to point out something else to you. Whenever we come up near a bridge, it gives you the height. This height is 100 feet. We know that we need 19 and a half feet or so, 19 feet to get through. So all along this journey, the bridges thankfully are marked, and you either can make it or you hail them if it's a swing bridge. Otherwise, you're not going through. But there's the bridge there. It's kind of interesting because it has an old bridge that's super low, and then the new bridge, which is super high. So there's your window to get through right there. We have successfully navigated our way through that bridge, and we are in 17 feet of water. We are now taking a passage through an inlet, and because of the land, we've got this funky path to make. We have to go out and around and back in. And there's land masses that are hovering under the water, but I wanted to show you kind of part 4 of today's adventure.
This is sporty weather here. We got good old waves pushing us around. Running at 15 knots, right into the wind, right into the waves. We're about to make a turn here, and they'll be behind us. Let's see how she does. Oh! Woo! Woo!
It's a beautiful little island. It's called Cumberland Island. And you can see the waves breaking out there. Yep. Active day at sea today. 2 minutes later, we get to this side of the island and all is good again. And we saw 5 or 6 dolphins coming in. So really beautiful.
So we have made it to Cumberland Island, and we're about to do some adventuring. We can do the audio tour, sounds good. Before we even get started, there's a beautiful little stand of live oaks here. And there's wild horses, so we're gonna check it out. Boy, that's quite the wall in the middle of a deserted island. Look at the wrought iron. Cool. We've learned that this mansion was built by the Carnegie family, and it was completed by Lucy Carnegie in 1886. And they used it for huge parties and functions right through 1925, at which point they stopped using it and the building was largely abandoned until 1959 when it burned down. After it burned down, the whole property and island was transferred to the national government as a national park, And all these ruins are still here for us to see today. You know, Paula mentioned too, we love touring ruins, and we've done it for many, many years. Starting back in 2000 to 2003, we toured ruins all throughout Europe. And then in Detroit, as Harley riders, we would find the classic ruins of Detroit and explore. So it really took us back. Beautiful place, beautiful buildings, and in remarkably cool condition. Paula's paradise right here. Doesn't look like much, but look at how the mud is moving. Armies of crabs, Paula.
So the tide comes in over there, and they built this huge wall here for protection. And there are the wild horses. I know, I just took a video of it. There's another wild horse right there.
Wanna be your northern lights. No love, won't you get me right? And don't you know that everything I do, try to make it live to you.
But this looks a little bit like Lake Michigan, except the plants are different.
Yeah.
But it's
Beautiful sand.
beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Really pretty sand. Really pretty dunes. Yeah, it's some pretty thick forest here.
Wow. Oh, it just goes and goes and goes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is just incredible. We're on Cumberland Island, and it's just amazing. It is beautiful, and it's a cloudy day, so it's got this moody feel today with all of these mosses hanging and the shadows and the dampness and the kind of humidity, and it just goes and goes. And what's so cool is you can hear the ocean on the other side raging, and our boat is parked on the other side, on the opposite side. Super cool. And we've got marshlands encroaching on our boat, and you've got this on this island. This is really cool. Look at that tree. It's amazing. And what's even more amazing is that at the end of this walkway is a beautiful beach. So Richie, tell me what you just discovered, but you gotta I gotta catch up with you.
There's basically 3 phases of the land naturally. So out at the end, you see, of course, the beach, and then there's sand dunes with no trees on them. And they are forming their little sand dune mountains out in the distance there.
Yeah.
And then beyond that is this brushy, sandy area. And then all of a sudden, right here, you can see
it starts.
You enter into the forest, and now that tree is at least a couple hundred years old.
That's cool.
And so you have, you know, like these 2 buffer zones before you get to the forest. And it is just a
It's
very cool
very
place.
unique. Island, you go from the jungle to the ocean. She is voicing her opinions today. There goes my boy. Loves the ocean.
Am I in your world? I'm tired of the twirl and the tricks